On second thought, I'm going to recognize the distinguished gentlewoman from Washington, D.C., Ms. Norton.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Kelly, you and I have sat in this very room when it was less rehabilitated, I must say, in any number of hearings, including joint hearings from Senate and House committees concerned about the state of the federal workforce, particularly the retiring of the so-called baby boomers. You testified that 90% of the SES, the senior service, could retire within the next 10 years. This, of course, is considered by everybody to be the creme de la creme of the workforce of the United States. These people who were apparently drawn for a number of reasons, the post-Kennedy folks. There's been a lot of discussion here about federal employees, but little discussion about a return on investment that any employer will understand. When you hire an employee, let's take people in this very room. If you see one of your employees in whom you have invested time and energy walk out the door, you're seeing your investment in that employee walk out of the door as well. And so the investment, the return on your investment becomes important if that is a high quality employee. The others on the panel have apparently agreed that there is a greater return on experience in the federal workforce, and that may account for some of the promotions. We know this. Rapid turnover takes investment, of course, out of the door. I wish you would describe, and of course the notion of promotion from within encourages people to stay, and you want to encourage competition. If you want people to compete for these employees, you at least want to keep your investment in the federal sector. So you'd like the investment to occur among federal agencies rather than have the private sector benefit from the investment of the taxpayers in the federal employee. I wish you would describe that in places like the IRS and the other agencies you represent.
There are many employees who begin their work for the federal government in an entry-level position in whatever their agency is. And what they hope is that they will see opportunities to move into new positions, to be promoted, to learn, to enhance their skills, to receive training, and to move up within the agency so they can do more complex and more important work for the agency. In agencies where those promotion opportunities do not exist, you will tend to see people leave more, because obviously people want to know that they have some opportunity in the future. But I also have to believe that happens in the private sector. Most people do not go into a job and want to stay in that specific job, in that occupation for their entire career. They're looking for opportunities to grow. And in the federal government, the idea that there are so many different jobs and so much important work across agencies gives employees the opportunity to do just that, and they take advantage.
Yeah, and of course the federal government has made a decision. It wants career employees. It is a career service. It's a civil service. I wish you would describe, there have been some inflammatory statements made by others on the panel about collective bargaining in Wisconsin and the rest. There seems to be very little understanding of the role that unions can play when there needs to be reductions in the workforce, when there need to be give-backs of some kind in the workforce, as opposed to when you have to do that and nobody is there to make the employers understand how it occurred. The President has had a management workers council. I wonder if you describe how that's...
Well, about a year ago, labor management forums were created under an executive order that the President signed, and that executive order has as its underpinning the idea of collaboration, and that working together we can figure out some of the most difficult problems that we face, and that has included situations, as you described, Congresswoman Norton, where the workforce has to change because the work of the agency changes, and either work goes away, and therefore there needs to be a smaller workforce, and it is the unions working side by side with management to deal with these very, very difficult issues, to try to do two things. One, ensure that the agency is able to continue to be successful in whatever its mission is, but at the same time to do all they can to have employees have opportunities to be placed somewhere else, to make sure that those skills, those experiences are not lost. But when there have had to be those kinds of situations, the only way that it happens in a way that's successful for the agency and for the workforce, in my view, is if the unions are working with management, and if management has the unions in every conversation, so that it's something that we can craft the best solution to.
It's how you get labor peace. Thank you very much, Ms. Kelly.
Thank you, Ms. Norton. Now recognize the distinguished gentleman from Illinois.